Hello again.
Hello again. Good morning, Mr. North.
Morning, Judge.
Nice to see you. Which case are you here on?
I'm here covering for Miss Sharp with the delayed sentence for Chase Gambrell.
All right. I didn't know you had left. Are you working with her now?
I am, yep.
I missed a step. All right. Well, welcome to 3B District Court. Mr. Gambrell is in the waiting room. I need Mr. Frazine, and here he is. How long ago did you move there?
So I've been here since March 1st. Yeah, I was at the prosecutor's office in Kalamazoo for a few years, and then I jumped ship, and now I'm over here.
Good for you. Part of your profession.
Morning.
We are live on YouTube. We are on the Zoom platform, and we're recording this. Now, we have several other sentences set this morning. We have Austin Shaw, Araceli Barajas, and Preston Emerick. The only defendant that's presently here is Mr. Gambrell. Good morning, Mr. Gambrell. Are you in Victorville?
No, Your Honor, I'm in Kalamazoo still.
Okay, all right. Well, the time change would be quite different if you were in California. Let's go ahead and call this case. We'll wait as the others log in, but there's no reason why we can't start a little early on this. This is file 202310. It's entitled People versus Chase Michael Gambrell. Mr. Gambrell was originally charged with brandishing a firearm in public, a non-resident's failure to present a CCW license, and transporting a license without a pistol without a license. The previous prosecutor staff, Lindsay Schaller, made a plea agreement with Ms. Tara Sharp in this matter for a deferred prosecution. Let me click into the file. I've been tracking Mr. Frazine's tracking of this case. The defendant was referred to the probation department. Under the terms of the deferral, he pled to count 2, failure to provide a CCW license as a non-resident. According to the deferral agreement, the defendant was to complete an anger management class and get a proper CCW license. Daniel, as I indicated, was in contact with the people throughout. I did get a certification from the NRA that Chase Gambrell, they spelled his name wrong, got a certification in April of 2021. There was an issue, however, as to the completion of the DV group. So I'll defer to you first, Mr. Nord. What can you tell us?
Thank you, Judge. Yes, my client initiated and was a part of a 10-week anger management class program. He obtained and did 7 of 10 of those classes. The first one he missed. He was caring for his grandmother in Kentucky. His grandmother has stage 4 cancer, and he went down there to help aid in her assisting in living. The second one, frankly, he relayed to me pretty candidly. He just forgot. He did not go to the second one. And the last one he missed as a result of the program kicking him out for missing 2. So of the 10, he completed 7. It's not 100% compliance, Your Honor, but I think he did. I think he did enough to warrant the agreement in this case. Thank you.
So I'm not clear. So he missed the first 2 Then he did 7, then they kicked
No.
him out?
No, over the course of 10 weeks, he
Okay,
did 7 of the 10-week program. There are weekly programs.
and did he get the license certification as indicated by that NRA document?
Yes, it's my understanding he has, Your Honor.
All
Your Honor, I
right.
don't believe I received that document. I checked in on base and there wasn't anything.
It isn't on base, it's under miscellaneous. There's
I thought
about
I seen it.
4 miscellaneous things in there from Daniel.
I don't have a miscellaneous file on my on base, so it must be the district court one. So Dan, if you could just email those to me real quick.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right, Daniel, what can you tell us about the anger management?
Mr. Gambrell was always in constant contact with me. I thought he was very honest. He wanted to make sure he did everything right. I helped him find a class or a place to go to get his certification, and he did. He was doing well in anger management. Then he had an issue with his grandma, went down there, and I called him either that afternoon or the next day about the anger management after I found he missed the second one because I knew he'd be terminated, and he was terminated. And I talked to him about possibly doing 3 more classes through KPEC, but he hasn't been able to get that lined up yet. I don't think it's not that he doesn't want to complete it. I think he's sincere, but he did technically not complete 10 of the classes. He did 7 of the 10.
Ms. Davis, what's your position on this?
Well, Your Honor, it appears from the previous prosecutor that the deal was to complete anger management, not to try to complete anger management. So I would be willing to set this out a bit for him to finish the class, complete it, get a letter from the instructor stating that he's completed it. Right now, I don't have any documentation to know that he even went to the 7 classes or that he participated in them, or if he just sat there and watched. I don't know. So something from the instructor saying that he has completed it would be ideal.
Daniel, I know you were in contact with Matt, who did our class, and regrettably, I think this may have been his last one, but did you get the sense the defendant was sitting there like a bump on a log or actually participating?
No, I actually spoke with Matt, and I think I just sent Deb Davis a copy of it. But I had a lengthy conversation over the phone, and he said he hated to terminate him because he was actually doing very well, but he can't make exceptions for just one person. And that's when I had talked to him and asked him if he could do something like KPEC, since he's out in that area anyways, and that's in Kalamazoo. If he can complete the three left classes, if the court would allow that, to do that. He just ran out of time.
Yes, Deborah would not object to that. KPEP is doing some of our other classes, and we're having a very good success with that. They're mostly virtual. If not, he can set that up. Mr. Nord, the prosecutor did not object if I adjourn this to allow him to complete the classes.
Thank you, Judge.
Daniel, how long do you think that will take?
I'd probably set out at least a couple months because I'm not sure if he's going to be if he has to wait. I don't know how KPEC does their anger management. You might have to wait to step into it, or if they have it ongoing.
All right, how about if we continue this to August 2nd at 11 a.m. He's substantially complied, but as Ms. Davis indicated, he's not complied. The grandma one is understandable. The one he just forgot is the one that sank his boat. So we will allow him to make it up at KPEP, which would be my preference. We have a good relationship with them, and get certification of completion, and then he will have completed the deferral agreement. Mr. Gambrell, do you think you can get that accomplished by August 2nd?
Your Honor, I'm not 100% sure, but KPEP requires 12 classes for them to give me a certification for it. If I do just 3 classes, I don't know if I'll be able to get a certification that I completed.
Well, certainly not. I'm not going to make you do all 12. Daniel, let's see if we can find some middle ground here. All right, we'll see where we are by August 2nd. You've treated this seriously through the emails and discussions with Daniel. You've been in contact with him throughout all this period. And I'm sorry that it didn't work out, but let's see if we can finish it and get you the benefit of your agreement. All right, continue to August 2nd at 11 a.m. unless somebody tells me otherwise.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, let's bring in our telephone number here. Mr. Norris, nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Judge. Bye.
Hi, man. Take care.
Bye, Deb.
All right, this may be Araceli.
This is her.
All right, Araceli, do you have the ability to use video?
I do not. I actually broke my phone yesterday or Saturday, so I don't have access to my phone right now.
All right, well, stay right where you are for a moment.
Okay.
And we've got Austin Shaw. Let's bring him in. Good morning, Mr. Shaw. All right, now it's 11:10. We're ready to go on with the balance of our sentences. Preston Emerick is not present. And that's Mr. Knopfsinger's client. Luke, have you had contact with him?
No, I have not, Your Honor.
All right, we'll address these and see if we can find him. Why don't you see if you can reach him by phone while we're working on these, if you got a contact number?
I do, and I have tried, but I'll just keep trying.
All right, all right, we'll give him a few minutes, otherwise we may have to pursue a bench warrant.
Thank you.
All right, our first matter we're going to deal with is, let's deal with Mr. Shaw. This is file 21444FY, Austin Lee Shaw. Mr. Shaw is represented by attorney Lori Hines. He has a lot going on here. Let me pull this file up. Good morning, Mr. Shaw.
Morning.
The defendant pled to this charge as part of a plea agreement. He waived prelim on a couple of cases that were removed to the circuit court on a bind-over. File 202377, possession of analogs, and there was another case, file 21469, that was just bound over in May. The defendant also was wanted in the state of Indiana and signed a fugitive waiver. And we'll find out what happened to that. And he pled to this charge, which was originally 2 counts of unlawful use of a financial transaction device. And he pled to a misdemeanor larceny with restitution in the amount of $248.83. The defendant also has a last pretrial set for June 4th on another driving suspended charge, and that's file 21470OT. He also owes $255 or 4 days in an earlier driving suspended charge. That money was due by March 15th. I don't believe he's made any payment on that. So he has one driving suspended where he's delinquent in his payment. He has another driving suspended set for last pretrial next week. And he has 2 bound over felonies and an Indiana charge. So, Ms. Hines, let's hear from you first.
Austin did take the plea on April 27th, and I just think he's ready to be sentenced. So I know he's got a lot of other matters going on, and at least we can get this one taken care of today for him.
Ms. Davis, what's your thought here?
Well, Your Honor, Mr. Shaw was not very forthcoming with his factual basis that he attempted to give here. I'm not certain he's willing to own up to what he has done. I think he's in a lot of trouble elsewhere and here, and he probably does just want to get this over with. But we have a victim who was taken advantage of. There's restitution of $248.83. I'd ask the court to order that restitution, and it would leave it up to the court's discretion as far as the punishment phase. Thank you.
Mr. Shaw, what's your, well, I should mention, the prosecutor did provide me with a copy of the videos, and you're in living color on the videos doing these transactions with your co-defendant. Anyway, what would you like to tell me?
Really, that I'm sorry, and I'm ready to get everything done and over with. I'm trying to move on and get a job and all that stuff.
All right, well, what happened once you went down to Indiana? What did they do in LaGrange County?
Like, are you talking about like my charges, or?
Yeah.
It was being at the wrong place at the wrong time. It was the first time
Well,
I'd seen.
you waived extradition in April. You must have posted bond. Did they resolve those cases, or what happened in LaGrange?
No, they didn't. I still have a court hearing coming up.
So you posted bond and was released?
Yes, I did.
All right. Where are you now? Are you still at the Laura Drive address?
Yeah. For now, I'm moving back in with my parents.
I think that's probably a good plan. Let's recap. You've got a driving suspended charge from earlier this year that you didn't pay on. You've got another driving suspended charge pending pretrial next week. You've got a felony drug charge pending in Indiana. You've got 2 bound over felonies here in St. Joseph County. And then you've got this felony that was reduced to a misdemeanor. That's a lot of baggage for a young guy.
I know I went down the wrong path.
Well, I think maybe moving in with your parents might be a better start.
Yeah, probably one of the smarter decisions I've made.
All right. This is misdemeanor larceny. I believe it was under 200, wasn't it?
It was 200 to 1,000, Your Honor.
Okay. I didn't click back into that page. Let me see if I can figure out how much jail you did at the front end here. You got arrested on April 15th. You bonded out the same day. Um, 200 and, I gotta click back in. What was the rest of 248 something?
$248.83.
We'll just make it 249. And that is to Sunny Mart? Or one is to the auto store and one is to the,
Let me double check. I have to submit that phone. It is to Kylesia Norris. It's
all
to-
right, so the
Girl
owner of the
charge.
car.
Yes.
Often the credit card company will forgive a fraudulent transaction, so I don't know whether she actually got billed for that, but it was part of the plea agreement. You've got a bunch of cases pending. You've got cases that you owe money on that you're not paying money on. You've got another driving charge pending. I think maybe I can work out the unpayment on the earlier one. I'm going to order 11 days jail, credit 1, leaving 10 days to serve. I'm waiving fines and costs. I'm waiving your attorney fee, although Ms. Hines certainly did pull a rabbit out of a hat for you in this plea agreement. And I'm going to order the $125 state minimum plus $249. $374. Payment is due by 9/1. But you're gonna go to jail. You might as well start it tonight.
Is there any chance that I'm able to do weekends so I can continue to try to get a job?
No, you're gonna do 10 days flat. I'm gonna wipe out the money you owe me on that other driving suspended charge, and you can think about it for 10 days.
Okay.
Minus good time. You'll get out in less time than if you did 5 weekends of the 11 days. So it'll start at 7 p.m. today, 5/24/21, and I will address the DWLS fine. I can probably wipe that one out, jail time in lieu of fine, in file 20785. There are people looking for help all up and down the street. Anybody that's unemployed right now is not looking very hard.
No, I actually have a couple people. Well, I have a couple places that I was supposed to talk to today. That's why I was asking if I could.
No, we're gonna just get this over with. You got 3 separate felonies pending in 3 separate states. It certainly would help your cause to get employed, but I think there's jail in your future. I don't know, but we're gonna do 10 days less good time on this. If you're a trustee, you'll get out even sooner. And I will see you next Thursday on your other driving suspended. I'll probably have you come up into the Polycom room. Anyway, yes?
Would you have a 30-day non-reporting probation in the event he doesn't show up at the jail today?
Yes.
Thank you.
If you don't show up at the jail, you're subject to a year. So just show up, get it over with. I'll wipe out the fine on your earlier driving suspended, and we'll address your next driving suspended next Thursday. Maybe we can work that out as well. Anyway, as I said, there you were in living color doing this foolish enterprise. And there's a consequence. You didn't pay your last fine.
You're right.
All right. I'll see you next Thursday. We'll have a chance to talk some more. Probably about done by then. All right, Mr. Shaw, turn yourself in at the jail by 7 p.m. tonight.
Okay.
We're good to go. Now, let me let him go. Araceli, are you still there?
Yes.
You must have logged out and come back in, because I got your number again. Luke?
Yes.
Let's make a record on Mr. Emerick rather than have you stick around here. He's charged with domestic violence. This is file 2020002SM. The matter was set for sentencing this morning. I did have a victim impact statement and some other information. The defendant is not present. You haven't had any contact, and you've tried to contact him. Going to issue a bench warrant. The new law says I have to wait 48 hours, so
I did leave a voicemail, so if I do have contact, I will notify the court and Assistant Prosecutor Davis, and we'll go from there.
somebody's driving a motorcycle down Main Street.
Railroad Drive. Yeah,
Oh,
I got
behind.
the window open.
All right.
Pretty muggy today.
You got, okay. All right, no bond. Bench warrant. 48 hours. Singer will attempt to reach client. All right, Luke, if he shows up, I'll send you an email, or if you get a hold of him, he's got 2 days before he gets bench warranted.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
See you guys later.
All right, Mr. Gibson is with us, and Araceli Alves Barajas is here. I wish I could see her, but I can't, but she is here. Daniel Frazine is here, who prepared the screening report, and Deborah Davis is here for the prosecutor's office. Defendant was arrested for operating while intoxicated on February the 19th. The prosecutor allowed a reduction to a lesser charge of impaired driving, which under the circumstances was a pretty good, generous plea offer. And the matter was set for screening and sentencing today. Daniel has done the screening report, and I thought he did a very nice job on it. And we got to figure out what we're going to do. Mr. Gibson, what would you like us to know?
The defendant has a very limited criminal history, and he was very open and honest during the assessment. I would ask the court to consider probation and to, as far as jail time, give her the motivation to succeed on probation and request that any jail be deferred provided she can complete probation successfully. Thank you.
Thank you. Deborah, what's your thought here?
Well, the blood alcohol was quite high for what she was claiming the consumption was and her typical consumption. I agree with Mr. Frazine in that report that I don't think she's being completely honest with either herself or us about her alcohol use. That being said, the fact that she did cause an accident, thankfully nobody was injured, but I think an additional day in jail sober would be warranted under the circumstances here, and then a probation to ensure that she's not having these issues in the future. So I'd ask the court to take that into consideration. Thank you.
One question I have, Daniel, the police report, I mean, in your screening report, I couldn't determine from the police report what kind of vehicle this was, and I didn't see a ticket. You keep saying the open bottle of tequila was in the truck. Was this a truck, or did you mean trunk? You're on mute, Daniel. Dan, you need to unmute your mic.
Sorry about that. She did tell me it was in the trunk, Your Honor.
Oh, trunk. Okay. What kind of vehicle was this, Araceli?
It was a Chevy Equinox.
All right. So it doesn't exactly have a trunk, but a back part. All right. Anyway, we'll hear from you, and then we'll hear from Daniel. There is some concern that your blood alcohol was quite high. You were very intoxicated. There was an accident when we're fortunate you didn't kill yourself or somebody else. You were very disoriented when you were talking to the police. You weren't necessarily uncooperative, but at one point you told them somebody else was driving, and then that's always an issue for concern, and then you admitted that you were driving. But your blood alcohol was very high. What do you want me to know?
I never drink and drive. Like when I was telling my friends about what happened, they know I'm usually the one that drives all the time. So I do not ever drink like that. That day I didn't eat anything, and it was just, I'm very disappointed in myself, and it's taken me a while to even acknowledge it. I apologize, and I'm happy no one did get injured. I don't drink very often. I have my son about 50% of the time, and he has sports every weekend, so I never drink with my kid. That doesn't happen. I don't feel like I have a drinking problem. I truly understand where it looks like I do, though.
Well, we've seen this situation before where young people, we'll say in your case a single mom, is tied down or required to be on game all the time, and they get a day off. They get a weekend where someone else is going to watch the children. They don't have to go somewhere, and they feel they owe it to themselves to have a good time, and then they overdo it, and we end up with this sort of result. So not every case is different, but I've seen this very type of circumstance several times, many times. You seem like a nice young woman. You're well employed. I'm sure you're probably a diligent mother, but this was a bad choice. Absolutely. Daniel, what's your thought here?
Well, nothing that hasn't already been discussed. I do think there's a little bit more going on here than either she's willing to admit or she is aware of. A 2.206 is really hard to get at. I know I couldn't get at it. I'd be passed out a long time ago. She didn't do well on the FSTs, but she didn't do like somebody that never drank a 206 before. And that whole thing with the tequila, I'm not sure I believe that either. So I really think in this case, I strongly feel that a sober day schedule would help reinforce that this isn't something that we're going to tolerate, and then just some education and a period to monitor and make sure she doesn't have any issues, as Miss Davis said.
Well, I don't know what to make of the tequila. She said she didn't like tequila. An Equinox doesn't have a trunk, but it's got a back area, but she drank enough.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
The only reason the tequila was in my car at all was that my roommate's boyfriend, he likes to drink a lot, so when he doesn't have beer, he'll go to the liquor. So I didn't want to bring that into the house. That was a gift my dad got me from Mexico, and it's actually not in my car anymore. I left it at my friend's house that has a bar in the basement. So I don't drink liquor, and I understand where it looks like I get that.
Well, I'll assume that you weren't, but you drank enough other stuff, including a bunch of fireball shots, to get you where you were. So let's assume your story's accurate, it's consistent, it's the same thing you said all along. But you drank enough other stuff, irrespective of the tequila, your blood alcohol actually went up a little bit from the PBT to the actual blood test, but you were cooperative with the police. You have very minimal driving record and no criminal record to speak of. Mr. Gibson is asking for what we sometimes just call a time, this is a timeout probation, but sometimes we will defer an additional day in jail in a first offense drinking driving case. This has been reduced to an impaired. But the aggravating factors in this case are the high blood alcohol level and the fact that there was an accident on a backcountry road.
And Your Honor, just for the record, Miss Alvarez told me that her friend's boyfriend drank and had brought the car. Now she's saying that her dad had gotten it for her. So those stories aren't completely matching, just for the record.
All right. I'll never know, like many things, what the actual truth is, but there's enough in that is agreed upon to get us to a .206. Does your employer know about this?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't going to tell him, but it sounds like you've got a good job and a supportive employer. Daniel is recommending the shortest probation that we have is 6 months, and actually it could be done in less than that. In order a 6-month probation, 12-month probation, which could be done in 6. I'm going to order, the guidelines call for 6. I'm going to order 4 days jail credit 1, leaving 3 days to serve. Under the 4 days, 2 are deferred. You're going to do a weekend and 1 day in jail. It'll be scheduled by the probation department, what Judge McManus used to call the 1 day sober. There's a $300 fine, a $75 crime victims' rights fee, and a $50 state minimum fee, a $100 screening fee, $150 attorney fee, and $480 probation oversight fee, which could be reduced. There's a police reimbursement of $255 to MSP for the blood draw in the accident. There's $15 for the victim impact panel. When the commercials on television tell you that drinking driving is an expensive proposition, they're correct. $300 plus $75 plus $50 plus $100 plus $150 plus $480 plus $255 plus $15 is $1,425. If you do this in 6 months, it will be reduced by $240, and I'm sure that you will. Are more than to attend the victim impact panel? Do you have a medical marijuana card?
No, we do not.
All right, well then there's no drugs and no alcohol, and testing as directed. This is the timeout part. No alcohol, no controlled substances, test as directed. So you're just going to go at least 6 months, possibly more, without any drugs or alcohol. I don't know that you need treatment, but this is just a situational thing. I've had thousands and thousands and thousands of drunk drivers over the years, and as I said, no 2 cases are exactly alike. But many of those people never come back again. It's embarrassing, it's humiliating, it's expensive, and they're like, I don't want to do that again. I think that's the category you're in. I think this is all of those things, and not to mention scary that somebody wasn't hurt. So I don't expect to see you again, and I expect that you'll do this probation in the 6 months, the shortest allowable time. And then this will be the last time you ever have to do something like this. I hope I'm right. Daniel will contact you regarding scheduling the second day in jail and the other terms of your probation. Do you have any questions?
No, I do not.
All right. Good luck to you.
Actually, one thing. I am going to get a new phone today, but I'm just going to switch to be my own phone. So I might have to get a new number. Do I just need to give that to Gibson, or
give
do I
it to
need call you
Daniel.
guys? Okay.
Yeah, call Daniel. I don't want you to do it here on the live feed, but
Okay.
call him and give him that, and I'm sure you'll do what's requested.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Paul's dogs are on patrol again. All right, I think that's all we have for this morning. I have a busy civil afternoon. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you, Your Honor. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to end the live feed. We'll be back at 1:15 with some landlord-tenant matters and then a couple of building construction